long story to say, I have lots of different plans and I don't know which one will be picked out of all that. But regarding the books, if we're on campus, I do think I'm going to have them pulled back in the morning so that we can do what we're going to do. I've heard that our maintenance guys have found whatever that mist spray thing is that's really popular right now. And so they'll probably get sprayed at some point, but I don't mind letting them set for a couple of days if they need to quarantine. So.
I think I got kicked out here temporarily. I apologize. Heather, I didn't get everything that you said, but at the end of it, you were talking about the mist spray. And I guess with that, one of the questions I had for people is, what are you doing to clean your library? What specifically are you using to clean your library? Maybe the books, maybe the computers, the shelves, the stacks themselves, the tables. What resources are you using to clean those different places?
Last year, I just used Clorox wipes, although the school had given out like different Lysol and things, but they were really strong. So this year, my understanding is they found something that's peroxide based, so it won't be as strong of a scent. So I think there's just going to be a lot of wiping down in general.
Because Clorox wipes are so hard to find right now, I'm planning to use what we used last year, which is an alcohol that dissipates or can be rubbed off, and just spray the tables and chairs between classes and have the students do hand sanitizer as they come in and as they leave. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do about actual bookshelves, if I'm going to worry about it. We can't get everything. So I'm going to try not to stress about wiping every single surface, just because I don't think it's realistic to actually have it happen.
Good to hear you say that.
Is everybody in agreement with that?
God is in control, and I think we need to take the virus seriously and not dismiss it. But at the same time, we can't live in fear, and you can only do what you can do. And the rest is providence. And he has our days numbered, whether it's from COVID-19 or a car accident like one of our parents, or just natural causes when we're 95. And so if we're living in fear, we're not trusting God. And that doesn't mean we're unwise, but it means we just go about our lives in wisdom. So, sorry, and that's not the point of this call, but I had to say it.
I mean, well, Paul said, for me to live as Christ and to die as gain. So, I mean, I'm ready,
I was going to say, hit those high traffic areas, the front counter, that stuff between classes, and make sure you get, like, we took all of our tables out. They're just going to have chairs facing the same direction. Yeah. Those are my quarantine tables then. But like you said, Mary Lee, there's no way that we can do every single shelf between every class. So, but then the maintenance staff is going to give us the supply. So I don't know what the cleaner is specifically. And then they're supposed to have people coming in every day cleaning the school. But we would have specific things like the counter and, high touch traffic areas we'd have to take care of.
So you're having some chemical, you're just not sure what it is yet.
Yep, whatever they give me.
Yeah.
We're using 70% isopropyl alcohol with microfiber cloths to clean anything cleanable. The computer monitors are not going to be disinfected because there's nothing safe that I know of for a computer monitor, but we don't have touch screens. So
hopefully they're not touching the screens anyways.
They're going to have to learn not to. I doubt we'll have classes in the library. I'll probably go to the classroom since that will already be set up for social distancing. I don't plan on having kids browse the shelves. All ordering is going to be done through the catalog online, or with the younger kids, we're using the book hub concept, and we're giving them order forms for their classrooms, and we'll deliver books to the classroom, both what they order and then selections around themes to book talk and things like that. And so we plan on wiping down the mice and the keyboards with alcohol after every use. We will not have kids near each other. Not even sitting next to each other. We're going to have the barriers, but even with those, kids are going to be at least cat-a-cornered from each other so they can't push back and play, because they will, especially the younger kids in the computer labs. So probably the chairs are going to have to be wiped down also. So time will have to be left in the classes for that. Classes will have to be shortened so that can be done between classes. I've asked for a plexi barrier for the circulation desk, but I'm going to be turning the scanner and the receipt machine outward. Mm-hmm. So that kids can check their own books out if they're coming in to pick something up.
So you'll be checking your own books out. And that is one of the things on here is limiting, whether it be numbers in the library or time in the library, or removing some furniture from the library. I guess these are my things to consider of how to address some of the situations. Now, one of the things is, most of you probably have like computers in your libraries. Is that true? Has anybody, I'm just curious, has anybody looked into UVC light?
No.
No? I did see an interesting study that talks about multiple studies that talk about the UVC's ability to kill COVID-19, and it looks like you can get like wands for under $100, and then you basically just wand it right over top of the computer keyboard or something like that, and then go back over it, and it kills off any of the COVID-19. So that may be something to look into, to consider. It's not using chemicals, which is always helpful. But it does kill off the coronavirus there. So, but any other questions or any other comments on the cleaning process or anything that you're using specifically that you know? Has anybody looked into poly gloves for kids?
Looked into what?
Polyurethane gloves, or the like kind of restaurant food gloves. They're usually, you can get them at super cheap.
The real thin?
Usually, what?
The real thin ones?
Yeah, the really thin ones.
Not for the kids. I'm using them to handle books and whatnot, but they're really no better than your skin if you don't keep them clean.
Yeah, I was thinking one-time use. When kids come in the library, one-time use. Usually you can get them for about $0.01 a piece.
Yeah.
So depending on how.
We're not having the kids in the library at all. We have a lot of furniture, soft seating, all of that's going to be removed.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to play games in there not now, not until this is over. So this is going to be strictly to check out books, really, because I'll go to the classrooms to instruct.
Yeah.
I did have the parents and children use gloves toward the end of the year, the last 3 weeks. I think it was 3 or 4 weeks when I was doing checkout by sign up. And so I required them to, wear their masks, and then I provided the gloves. I had a box of those thin gloves for when they went in the library, and just one-time use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it would be come in, put them on, walk around, throw them away on your way out type of a thing. But yeah, you can usually get them for like $0.01 a piece. So, I mean, 2 cents for a kid to be able to come to the library. So that's something to think about. Any other cleaning procedures or anything you guys are doing?
Couldn't you just have them sanitize their hands? Wouldn't that be faster and more cost effective? I don't know where you get your gloves, Glenn. The only ones I've seen are like $10 for 50 gloves, or I don't know. And they're all like really big sizes. It's really hard here to find small and medium sized gloves in the stores.
Yeah, they are difficult to find right now, that's for sure. I know that I saw some, I think probably the smallest I saw was medium size. Yeah, just yesterday or 2 days ago, I think I saw them on Amazon. But you're right, you have to buy them in packs of like
big.
10,000 or something like that to get them at a penny a piece. Otherwise, they are quite expensive. But I figure if you're using them quite regularly, it wouldn't take too long to go through a large quantity of them. But we were looking at purchasing some to send out to schools for events that we do. Again, one-time use students come in, they put them on to sift through things, and then they throw them away on their way out, type of a thing. So, but yes, you're right. Sanitizing would be fairly similar. I think it would probably be more of a visual reminder of, something on your hand, that something different is happening here. Don't go around and play with everything and whatnot. So I think sometimes with sanitizer, you can get very used to it, and you don't change anything. You're not touching your face less or, doing anything different. So
I think for me, having the gloves, or, and I provided them, was, how should I say this? It was kind of a symbol to not just for me, for them using the library, but to parents, that I was providing an avenue of protection.
Yeah.
So, which I thought was, since the parents were bringing their kids and going in to the library with their kids, and I was outside with stuff, they were, I have a small space, so not a lot of room in there. So I was letting one family in at a time. And so having the gloves showed other parents that, that I was providing that protection. Rather than assuming, even if I provided the sanitizer, which I would probably do if for kids, they'd be sanitizing or washing all day long, I think. But I felt that for families, that the gloves were an extra sign of protection.
Yeah. Any other thoughts or comments? I think that's my questions on the life of the coronavirus book, through the stages of how is it found, how is it checked out, how is it returned, how do you process and reshelf the books. But I have some other just additional discussion questions, but does anybody have any questions they want to ask that they haven't had a chance to yet?
I was just wondering, I don't know how many of us are like secondary school versus primary school, but as a secondary school librarian, I was wondering what you guys are doing to connect with your kids, because I know that in March and in the spring, it was pretty isolating. I felt like even though I ran book clubs, I'd only have like 3 kids show up. I really felt disconnected from my students, and I'm trying to figure out ways. Like, I do one-shot lessons, so like I go in and teach or help with a research assignment or come alongside the teacher, but it's obviously, a large part of library is relational ministry and like being the safe space for the kids. And I don't know how we're going to do that this year. So I was just wondering if anyone has thought about that.
No thoughts. That's a great question. And it is actually on my questions here of additional questions is, how are you engaging your students in new ways? It's probably it's got to be very difficult to deal with everything and trying to continue the focus of the ministry, which is why you guys are at your schools. It's not just a job, it's a ministry to students. And so, one of the things I had here is organizing events and activities. And I don't know if any schools have any kind of extracurricular activities that are going on. I know that currently in Texas, they are. There's still sports teams that are meeting and whatnot. And, doing California seems like it's probably a little bit more strict on what they're allowing, but are you finding other ways? How are you finding ways of connecting with students right now? And what is your plan going forward in the school year to not just get them books, but to continue that relational ministry that Christine asked about?
Well, I was, as she was talking, I was thinking how the middle school kids at my school, a large number of them love coming to the library and seeing what's new. And they want, and I book talk a lot of books, and they want to know what's new and what I'm reading and all of that. So I think if I recorded book talks on what's new, or did a little thing on what's new, or featured a few books, but I was thinking if there was a way I could get the students to record what's their favorite book, send it to me, and I somehow link that, because kids often check out books that other kids are checking out.
Yeah.
You know, they'll be in the library and this girl will say, oh, you got to get that one. That one's great. So I've got to think of a way that I can incorporate that book that kid said was great, you know, have her send me a video clip or something like that, because, so, you know, a lot of kids will say, what would you suggest? And I'll say, well, what was your favorite last book? And then I'll connect them with the book. Sure. But a lot of them, you know, they're reading what the other kids are reading.
Yeah.
So maybe if I made up a little form and gave that to the middle school kids, and well, anyway, I'm thinking along that line.
And most of your students, all of your students are probably going to be at home, in which case, you know, having them present videos, maybe parents working with them to present videos, is definitely a new opportunity that the coronavirus has offered.
Well, they did a lot of that.
Kids doing review videos.
Yeah.
Sandy, how about if you create a Padlet and call it something like What I'm Reading or My Bookshelf, and then the kids could all post on there their latest books and the ones that they love and recommend anyway. Padlet's really good for that.
Lorraine, can you, you said Padlet, can you explain that?
Padlet.
Can you explain what that is real quickly?
It's like a digital bulletin board. It's got a wide variety of uses.
Yeah.
It sounds like just what I need, something like that.
That's exactly what I thought of when you said that. You know, we are planning on going back face to face. As of the last email we got from our principal, only 14 kids have opted for virtual learning. And so we are planning on doing face to face, but if we have to go all virtual, if we have the experience that some other schools have had, that as soon as we go back, everybody starts quarantining because of an infection here and an infection there, and we have to go back virtual, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, because last year our kids were so overwhelmed keeping up with their courses online, because they can't work as fast and as efficiently online as in person. And we kept up our curriculum. It did not change. So that outside of my regular library classes, I really did not want to throw additional burdens on the kids. I just didn't. And so I basically reverted to tech support outside of my regular stuff. The kids, they can always contact me on our library website. We have a library chat widget, so they can always chat. I have what's new book list of books all over the library website for all different levels of schools. And then of course our online catalog has a what's new feature, and they can always see the newest books added, and they can place holds. So they have all that capacity. I'm really looking at it as a learning opportunity for them to learn the catalog, because we have a wonderful catalog and too few kids use it. They're too dependent on surfing the shelves. So I'm actually looking forward to this as a learning opportunity. They're going to have to learn to use the catalog. And when we come back to school for real, without the restrictions, I hope they're going to be much, much more tech savvy.
Lorraine, what's your library online catalog software?
Alexandria. And does anyone else have Alexandria? Okay, yeah, you do. Or do you have version 6 or 7? You're muted.
Yeah, we have 6.
Yeah, and so you know the problems we're having because of the browser upgrades. And so I'm in the process of converting to 7. I have to. I don't really like 7 as much, but I don't have a choice at this point. But it's Alexandria.
How many have Follett?
I'm waiting for a quote from Follett. What do they charge? They were more expensive when I first got Alexandria.
They are expensive. That is true.
Like what?
Let me find out. Let me go to my paperwork.
Yeah.
I want to say ours is about $1,200. I feel that's
a
about
lot more than I pay. Yeah. Actually, it's a lot more. It's about $400 more than I pay. That's probably why I didn't do it.
Well, we have the cloud-based support too, and so I don't have to worry about server issues or anything like that. So I did opt for, I think that's more expensive, but it's worth it for us.
We also have that. We're on their server. They do all the updates. They handle everything. And it's still only $800 a year.
Mine is about $3,000.
Wow. Well, what size school are you in? Are you in a Christian school?
Yeah, my school is about 940 students.
Huge. Where are you?
We're in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Wow.
There are 2 of us in the peninsula that are like pretty big Christian schools.
Christine's also high school, right?
I'm 6th through 12th.
Yeah, 6th through 12th, so upper grade, yeah. Well, that's, I'm looking through my list of things here. And I think that's pretty much, I mean, the last question I had was, and Lorraine mentioned it a little bit, it's something she's looking forward to. I'm wondering, what are you most excited about with the new school year? What is it that is that you're really looking for? I know it's a tough question, but that's what I want to leave you guys. That's the thought process I want to leave you guys with. What are you looking forward to? What are you excited about?
Seeing the kids again.
Well,
I told them many times it's no fun without having interaction with them and seeing it. And like, it was our distance learning, they would send things or pictures back to me or whatever and emails, and they loved it. So seeing the kids again is my excitement.
I am looking forward to highlighting different books this year. So during COVID, I was weeding through my nonfiction section and finding all sorts of I was finding all different kinds of books that I haven't highlighted and didn't realize we had in our library. So I'm looking forward to highlighting those.
I guess with all the uncertainty, I'm looking forward to seeing what God's going to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm also looking forward to the, we're going to really heavily book talk things. And the plan, my plan at least, as I envision it for our younger grades, is to make book collections around themes. And then book talk them with a different theme every week. And see how that goes, because there wasn't a lot of that being done last year. I'm not really the elementary librarian, although I do all collection development for both libraries. And I've brought in a lot of new materials. We have awesome books for these kids, and they don't know about them. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, now they can't just like pick the coolest one. They have to pick what you guys show them. So you can show them really cool books now.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd go so far as to say I'm excited, but part of me is like kind of excited to learn like all this different educational tech stuff, because I've been able to put that off for a while. And now I kind of can't. And so I'm like, maybe this isn't such a bad thing. Like now I really do have to learn like how to use a QR code, how to do Padlet, how to like, finally order more ebooks instead of print books. And so I don't know, that's kind of exciting. So I'm cautiously optimistic.
Awesome. We only have a few minutes left till the end of this third round here, but before I close, does anybody have any questions that haven't been asked yet that they really want to get out there? Hey, Heather, I'm sorry, I think you're muted.
Sorry. I bought these off of Amazon. They're not stickers, they're clings. And so if you're looking for something for distancing, I'm actually going to use these for like distancing down our hallway. So just if anybody has any like super ideas about anything that are just kind of like random, like how you think something's going to happen, like I'd love to hear that.
Yeah.
Made my own social distance dots. It was really fun. So I took a lot of, so I made them in our school colors. I'll show you. I made 90 of them because why not? So they're all just colored paper that you can get from Michael's in those like value paper packs. And I took a mixing bowl, and so my circles were uniform, and then cut them out and covered them in contact paper. So for 90 rolls, 90 dots, it took me 3 rolls of contact paper. And then those will be used throughout the campus because I wanted a unifying look for our entire campus.
Wow, I love it.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. So I did it and watched movies, and it was great.
How do you keep them in place?
I'm planning on using blue tape on the bottoms of them, and then we'll find out if that works or not. Our big textbook distribution, new student welcome, all of that is next week. So we're still pinning down the details of what that's going to look like. It means changing every procedure we have. We're doing everything outside, so we have to make the library an outside space. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Any other really awesome ideas?
I just want to say thanks, Glenn, for hosting this, and it would be great if we could have this at least even once a month or something. And it doesn't have to be you, Glenn, that hosts it, but you know, like just a way that we can exchange ideas. Because I feel like, I know for my school, like things change every 24 hours, like at this point, like, and so it'd be nice to check in with each other, especially when I told my boss that I was coming here and it was all Christian school librarians, she was like super excited because I feel like our concerns are so different than any other school librarians. Maybe not so much with the coronavirus stuff, but like, I think a lot of us come from schools that maybe aren't as well funded as our private counterparts that aren't Christian, or, you know, our collections look completely different, or our outlook is very different because we believe that God has a plan, you know, stuff like that. So thanks.
Yeah. Well, I'm all for that. I mean, I got time right now, so.
Facebook has they've upped their video conferencing capability too, and can probably set this up right through the Facebook group.
Facebook, yeah.
Just do a once a month schedule, a live meet.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. That's something to look into.
Christine, why don't you just schedule that, and it'll be posted on the Christian Librarian site, and anybody who wants to can jump in. I think it's a good idea because this is a moving target.
And some of us don't know how these things that we have ideas, you know, in theory are gonna, when they're put in practice, are gonna work out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How we've changed.
We can definitely do one in, and I'm guessing, Lorraine, with Facebook groups, we probably don't have to get shut off every 40 minutes. So.
I haven't used it for conferencing, except for like my small group of family.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. I'll definitely look at it, and we can definitely look into having another one of these in the closer future. I was looking at quarterly, but you know, it's definitely possible to do it every month, something monthly, to, especially like you said, right now with the moving targets and whatnot. So, but I really appreciate you ladies coming out here and meeting with me and talking about some of these things. Hopefully it was a help to you guys. I do have a few closing remarks, but before I get to them, I was wondering if I could just pray for you guys and pray for your situation in each of your individual schools, and that God would be with you. So if you could, if you don't mind, I'm going to pray for you. God, I just thank you for this great group of ladies that are called to serve in a librarian capacity to students across the U.S., Lord, and even in Canada. And I just pray that you would guide and direct them, help them make wise decisions and counseled decisions and informed decisions that best serve the students and families of their schools. Lord, help them be smart and wise with protecting the students, but also using the opportunities that are presented, the new opportunities to grow themselves and to grow the students into the book lovers that they desire them to be. God, I just pray that you could use this time period, not just